Yes, I was elated and excited because I could see that it gave Britain a chance for a new future. I didn't see in any way was it a turning our back on Europe. I don't see Europe and the EU as being one and the same. I've dealt with all my colleagues in Europe in my industry over many years, but the EU was always something that we joked about. We never really took it that seriously. I've been a little shocked at the reaction of the people who voted Remain and lost on the day last year when we had the referendum. There's real vitriol from some of them, and I've been quite shocked by that, because normally we have an election and it goes your way or it don't, and then you carry on. But there's a serious rift between relationships, personal relationships, that I would never have anticipated, and clearly that Brexit does make the blood run hot. So I hope it will settle down and we'll get back to some stage of normality, but I've been shocked at the level of feelings about this topic over above anything else I've experienced before. I'm not surprised at the EU stalling as they have. They've done this before. A democratic vote's taken by a country, Ireland I think it was Denmark, and they either run another referendum or they just ignored that vote. So I'm not surprised. I am a little frustrated by it, about the length of time it's taking, but I do see clearly that if we can cut the political union and do a deal on the market, then we may find a solution. But there are some red lines that I don't see can be crossed, such as border control and making our own laws. I think these two elements are things that we cannot give any ground on. But frustrated, I think, at this moment in time, but still quietly confident that we will get there eventually. No, it's not really changed my view of England. I've always seen Britain as being a part of Europe, and my own personal situation is I come from an Italian family. I've also got lots of friends right across the continent I made during my business life, so I still feel a part of Europe. I see the EU as something completely outside of all that. I see it as a bureaucracy that stands alone, and I don't think leaving the EU should or will damage our relationship with Europeans generally, which obviously, as being a Brit with a Italian family background, I see myself as a British guy who's very much European as well. I don't think the demographics is about location so much as age. I think that London is a cosmopolitan city. I spent the first 40 years of my life as a London resident. A very cosmopolitan population, and probably if I was a betting man, I'd have bet on a majority in London to vote Remain. Outside of London, I think it's more a case of perhaps it's a more mature population. And I think that there was generally a feeling that we were voting for something that we thought we'd voted for in '75, and realised that what we ended up with was something entirely different. So I really don't think the geographic situation reflects anybody feeling deprived. I mean, London's always been the leader, as Paris is in France and New York in the States. They're big cities, and they're the hubs. So and apart from that, the parts of Britain over the last 10 to 15 years have also blossomed. Manchester, for example, but No, I think it's more of an age demographic than a geographic one, that we've got the divide in this country. I'm afraid I don't have one word, Lionel, but I have two. I feel somewhat frustrated, but I feel optimistic. I think at the end of the day, I do think common sense will prevail, and I don't think that the monolithic European Union, I think that in any horse race there's going to be a winner, and I honestly don't think that the winner will necessarily be the European Union. And although I'm aware that it is a mountain to climb because it's become so entrenched since it came into existence in 1957, I do think Britain might just break that mould and we might see something different, or a massive change in the European Union, which I don't think we could have achieved if we stayed within it.